Hi guys, I last month introduced Lenormand readings for February, March, and this month I'm going to do March and April for Gypsy. Some believe that Gypsy cards are actually the evolution of Lenormand cards. There are actually 52 cards in a deck versus 36 in regular Lenormand deck. So I'm going to do the grand tableau with all the cards on the table, where it's going to give us a whole bunch of situation and kind of possibilities, and it could be your story. It doesn't have to be your story because the energies are here from everybody who are actually viewing. So just keep in mind that the cards have their individual meanings, but interpretation of the cards in this big spread requires a deep understanding of how adjacent or associated cards influence the interpretation. Also, guys, take advantage of the two promotions, annual Taroscopes and right now it's a great time. They're right now on sale, so you're getting one sign for $10 and all signs for 20, so you can check somebody else, or you could check your ascendant and Venus sign and Mars sign. So this is a great opportunity. But the best part of my special is my speed up promotion, so you are not waiting 3 weeks anymore for the readings. So I'm actually upgrading whatever the term was before, so 3 weeks is now 1 week, so becoming a rush reading, and the rush reading, which was week, is now 3 days. And if you really want an urgent reading, you're going to get it within 24 hours, and if you're North America, most likely the same day. So guys, check my website www.cattarot.ca for more information. You can also find me on Instagram and on Facebook, where I actually also publish daily Taroscopes. So let's jump in. Hi Cancers, welcome to your March-April Gypsy reading. Well, okay, so let me preface this with, this is a general reading. I'm seeing different significators, and I am trying to actually put these dots together. I'm trying to make this story into something that can be a prediction. Connecting the dots is always like what readers do, and for that you really need to know life. You really need to know where the situation and how the situation can evolve, and I guess my profession, counseling and coaching, is helping in this. So the reason I'm prefacing this is because I'm seeing lots of, let's call it, interesting situations. So guys, again, this might be you, this might not be you, because it's over 20,000 people that see this reading. So I'm somehow accumulating these energies, and trust me, it's just like a performance artist who come in opera. I don't get those flowers, and flowers are that energy kind of boost that you get at the end. I'm exhausted after these readings. So when I'm doing this individually, it's the energy directed to you. And here, the significators that we have: lover, Lord, sweetheart, and wife. Any of them can be you, whether you're male or female, because this is a general reading. So let's start. It is kind of really interesting here that we have both lover and Lord clustered together. So it actually is applying to both singles and those in relationships, or those in and out of relationships, right? The thing is here that I see that Thief card that came reversed, right? So here, let me just grab a pen. Not like the ruler is clear, so it doesn't show. So here you have a Thief card, and you have a Death card reversed, and then you have a falseness here reversed, and love, false love. There is some kind of young lady. So let's go and talk a little bit about this Thief and Death card here, because I think that kind of has Sorry, I have a flu for a week, so if I cough, please forgive me. So the thief reverse talks about a negative situation. The thief upright is a pretty bad card, but this card is one of those cards that doesn't have the opposite meaning when reversed. In fact, the situation continues to be negative, and I even don't have positive cards over around this, like to kind of indicate that something is over, right? So this is something that is becoming a fact of dishonest actions, right? Of course, it can be definitely theft, robbery, or fraud. But I really feel there was a big loss over here. Loss of love. Loss of... there is a lot of questioning in a situation. And kind of like misplaced confidence, not knowing in which direction to go, right? Not knowing how to even behave in the situation. The second card that basically is also crucial to both of these significators is a despair, an old lady, right? So despair is in Vera Sibilla, the original card is called jealousy, right? So I definitely do see that it could have been a situation that had maybe, let's call it, too much fun. Like the cheerfulness card is here, so this shows 3 people over here. Yeah, I can pull this one out because it's on the side, as you can see, right? And old lady can literally mean your old lady, right? Which is next to the guy who may be with somebody, right? So somebody maybe stepped aside from their union, because this is talking about somebody being humiliated, because we also have a young woman here. Somebody feeling cheated or betrayed or insulted. There is like sort of loss of face, right? Even rape would go under this card. And I really hope that nobody here had to go through that. And it would be a date rape. It wouldn't be sort of like where somebody grabs you and do anything to you, but this is not that it makes it any lesser. If anything, it probably is making it worse, because it's also betrayal of the confidence, right? So this is definitely here telling me about, on one side, loss of someone and dealing with that loss, and dealing with maybe even monetary loss, and trying to figure out how to kind of land on your feet. For the others, it's talking about some kind of like unreasonable thoughts or decisions, because jealousy in itself appears, right? It's something that basically makes us feel irrational. It usually works in tandem with lack of trust, right? And jealousy can be related to more than love relationships. It can actually include envy between friends, family, and business associates, right? The extreme level of jealousy is humiliation, and I think this is why jealousy exists, because there are dots from, okay, we are here and we are feeling discomfort in a relationship and we are horrified of this happening. So the jealousy is like that, what is kind of gluing things together, right? Because we kind of like, we can lose our will to live. We have these irrational fears, right? And instead of like just waiting for these fears to happen and then dealing with them, we are all along kind of like what I'm calling playing poker with sweaty palms, right? So be very, very careful about that, because there is like a definitely either fear of being betrayed or being betrayed, right? To be honest, really, I really think there was a betrayal over here, because I also see the wedding card reversed, and yet here is like another significator this kind of like leads us to. So the wedding card reversed, and it's like right next to the love and falseness reversed again. The soldier reverse talks about some kind of secrets, and again, somebody had too much fun, something, you know, went wrong. There was a third party involvement into this kind of thing, right? So when the wedding card reverses, we are talking about the fate is stepping in, right? Something, fate is not going to unite you, right? There could be unrequited or basically impossible love. Here, it can also suggest that some of you or some of us have been involved with a party that is already involved with somebody else. and not only involved with somebody else, but also having somebody else on the side, right? So jealousy kind of like really, it's from everybody in all directions over here, right? And also this person is acting completely out of character. This is you kind of like going in all directions, is obviously a definition of either high irresponsibility, but also of pain, right? This card also kind of can suggest that you or somebody is refusing to accept the truth, that this relationship simply has no future, it's kind of ill-fated, or partnership or marriage is dissolving. As I said, not only this card, but also what I see here, the pleasure seekers and the cheerfulness, you know, it can indicate, right, a clandestine romance. And kind of like what they call it, a love story without rhyme or reason, or the one that leads nowhere. And some of you are trying to kind of figure out how to kind of like behave in the situation. You know, the service card is kind of like a really interesting card. Whenever I see this card, I'm imagining a red carpet over here. Like, right, look at the servant is opening the door, and it's right next to this sweetheart significator, right? So of course, when I touch one card, everything, like, I mean, and I'm a teeny bitty OCD, and I like my cards to be clear. You know what they say, how you do anything is how you do everything. So you can tell I'm kind of like really looking in the details, right? So this is talking about receiving and offering help. So I really think some of you will be on the receiving end, needing help. And this card is a really sort of one of those cards that doesn't look important, but it's actually very important, right? It basically, first is that you can look into that help comes from somebody who provides service. So literally this can mean going to therapy, talking to a friend, trying to lift your spirits, trying to get out of that funk you're into this, right? So again, jealousy, right? As I said, it can go in directions with friends as well. And jealousy is also underlying issue is lack of trust. Whether you don't trust yourself that you're going to deal with the situation if the situation arises, or you already had that experience and the trust has never been rebuilt, which is kind of really difficult situation, right? So also keep in mind the service can be just as it is, that somebody is helping somebody out of self-interest, right, for their personal gain rather than out of love or loyalty, right? So whether this card is associated with love cards, you should really question whether or not a person is there to help out of love or because they have something to gain from the situation. This is true for love, work, or business, right? So this actually also can talk about a business partner, or because we also have a merchant over here. So some of you who are in business are trying to kind of maybe sign a contract, be in some kind of partnership. It's most likely I would advise you not to, and they say not during Mercury retrograde. These things can be just like pure disaster, and the contract won't be signed, or something has been missed, the dot has been missed, somebody is like telling you just out of their own interest to do it. So for example, you're looking for a job and the kind of headhunter contacts you on a middleman, and they're telling you all these beautiful things about this job. The truth is, they're not telling you the truth. They're telling you this because they want to seal the deal. They want to be paid. So just kind of like keep in mind that this kind of situation can occur. And then we have wife, sort of like on the side from all these kind of like events happening. And then we have the dog, which is the loyalty, and the widower over here, and also bad surprise. So there is a situation from which some of you are recovering. And also we have a foe, we have vanity, and we have a child. Something kind of eroded the sense of kind of like feeling of who you are, right? When you have these I think it's called haughtiness, the peacock card over here. When we have this card, especially when it is reversed, right? it certainly talks about limitations, but also healthy awareness of our own limitations, right? But also talks about the strengths that we are actually discovering in the face of difficult situation that we actually need to do, like, right, with kind of like understanding that, like, I mean, we are sort of like understanding better, we are getting better sense of who we are, and we are like more proud about ourselves. So with this balance, relationships can actually be restored, and there is kind of like demolition of all these walls that we have kind of like built in the process, right? So certainly this card indicates past behavior that has been resolved, and it has been a past behavior with somebody. So somebody got pregnant, or maybe you heard somebody getting pregnant, or maybe or just like simply cheating, and kind of like a situation that kind of like you have been very saddened about, and maybe that's why the widower is here, right? The widower card really indicating something is kind of done and over with it, right? It's loneliness, it's a sadness, it's a mourning, regrets, right? But it's also very much like this, talking about, okay, so it has come to the point of accepting this circumstances, right? And dealing with the consequences of possibly partners' actions, right? So something is coming as a bad surprise, but all of these things that are happening, almost like these Ghostbusters turbulence coming from everywhere, are actually resurfacing as a kind of solution. And there will be a communication, there will be something in writing, there will be something that's going to bring hope and gifts. This also could actually mean that some of you, because reunion card is reversed, so, and the prison is here, so sort of like if you're going through divorce of some kind of kind, maybe you're going to start divorce. That can mean that because of this third party. It could mean like, look, I'm done, I'm fed up, I'm done talking, it's over. And this kind of like came as a shock to you, but because of it, it's giving you kind of hope to get out of it. Some of you might actually open to more spiritual practices, to kind of like find refuge with church, or even getting a tarot reading to kind of like reach closure. But this card also tells me that the healing, this is all telling me that the healing is taking place. A hope and consolation and friend are upright. And priest can mean a lawyer in this deck as well, and these cards are very strong cards, right? Friends are really hard to find, and very much unlike the service friend, this is a friend by action, as I call them, right? It's like somebody likes movies, you consider this person a friend just because you go to the movies together, but like maybe on the other aspects you just don't see things eye to eye. But this is a real friend who is really going to leave their family and their child for a moment to come and talk to you, to give you a kind of like, I mean, soft place to fall. So keep that in mind, that like, I mean, while something is going to reach the clarity that kind of like things have to be kind of dealt with and kind of reach the closure, the other things will resurface that are going to kind of give you a boost. So that negative situation is going to start to like dissipate and kind of like come and become more hopeful, and kind of like building your own world the way it is. It might be also, if you're negotiating some settlements or something, that you're going to get possibly, you might lose in money, but you might get in property or some other stuff as well. So I hope that this is kind of like giving you some kind of like perspective, my dear Cancer, and your comments are always more than welcome, because of course, like, I mean, there's so many of you and I always learn more and more. And also I would really appreciate if you subscribe, like, I even dislike, that always is a feedback. Any feedback is good. And you can also visit me on Instagram and Facebook for your daily dose of spiritual practice. And lastly, to book your reading, contact me via my website, www.cattarot.ca. Thank you very much. Looking forward to hearing from you. Love you.